Hello, welcome into this mystery reading. I'm Molly, the QuantumLeapQueen. Thanks for joining me on this reading. These readings are a timeless resource for you to come utilize whenever you need some extra nourishment in your life. So trust that if you found this reading today, there is a message here for you. I'm setting the intention as always to give you the best messages that you need to hear today. And I am starting with the Pause Tarot. Let's take a look and see what we need to discuss with you today, my friend. I have the Ace of Cups reversed. Five of Cups. We gotta be talking the Hermit reversed. Oof. Okay. Like there's one more. The Knight of Wands. Okay. So these two out first. This is really heavy energy, very heavy emotional energy, an absolute like gut-wrenching pouring out of your emotions. Like cannot control it because it just hits you so deeply. In such a vulnerable position, this energy is. And then I had the Hermit reversed with the Knight of Wands. So I see it as like, why do I picture like just a complete collapse, like a melting down, like if like you yourself were like melting into the floorboards. It was like you just wanted to disappear into nothing, whatever this energy is. And it was with the Knight of Wands into the Hermit. It was like you, at some level, you knew this was coming, but you weren't ready for it. Like you really were avoiding like getting to this part of the absolute emotional meltdown. It's very, very, very difficult. And I feel like you had to come into hermit mode when you just weren't wanting to at all. Again, it was like you wanted to keep pushing through, but you knew eventually like the tides would turn and the shifts would have to come in. And this is that moment, like that they did come in and that you were forced to go within yourself. And I'm hearing it's like completely being shredded open from the inside out. Oof, there's some heavy energy. I'm like getting hot just with how intense this is. Let's find out more information for you. What else? What else can I tell this group? I have the Queen of Pentacles and the Nine of Wands. You felt like you weren't being honored for who you are about this situation. It was like, and this could be a relationship, this could be a job, this could be many things. But essentially it was like you didn't feel honored or respected and you weren't getting what you knew that you deserved in this dynamic. And the Nine of Wands is you kind of like trying to fight for and like prove that you are worthy of being, let's say, the Queen of Pentacles. But since the Queen of Pentacles came out in the reverse, it's like you just never got that honoring. You never were able to take the crown or to take the position of actually being in the Queen of Pentacles. Yeah, it was just a lot of like fighting and then realizing like the fighting isn't doing anything because you're just like in the wrong environment or with the wrong person. And that no matter what you did, it wasn't going to get you what you deserve, which is that Queen of Pentacles vibration, treatment. So, it was tough. It was really, really tough. But as well as this card, it reminds me of, like, you're the one that had to mop up your own stuff, too. Like, you had to really, like, sorry, but, like, clean up your own shit. Like, it was not easy. It was not easy, but at the end of the day, it's kind of like you put yourself in the position, you know, and I think you purposely put yourself there not because you didn't see it coming. It's like, it's more like, I feel like you put yourself there on a soul level to extract what you needed to. And I think it does involve like breaking yourself open and then rebuilding from that vulnerability. Because like every time, obviously, our heart shatters, then it's our capacity for love is more. So I think you could subconsciously see the gifts underneath what you were going through, but it doesn't take away from the difficulty and the the absolute horrendous pain that is present here. So, what else? What else can I tell you? I have the Two of Swords. It's brought you so deeply into yourself, and I feel like your capacity of knowing yourself and understanding life has greatly improved, and it's because of the work you did in the dark through this period of, I don't even want to call it like recollection. It was more like a total rebirth moment. You know, all the internal work that you did, like no one gets to see that really, besides like the outcomes of what you've worked on, but like the actual work that you went through, like internally, like no one sees that but you. So it's just something to acknowledge yourself for, no matter where you are, if this just happened or if this is something from the past. It's a compliment here to the ability to sit with yourself and to rebuild from like being completely melted and transformed into something different now. What else? I have the Sun, of course, the Nine of Swords, the King of Cups. Oh, I like the Nine of Swords is reversed here. That's nice. So, a few things. I do feel like you had to go through this situation because it was a requirement, it was a prerequisite for you to have sunnier days ahead. Because it did transform you in such vast ways that, again, your capacity for more is now available. So that was something you had to go through to get to sunnier times. With the Nine of Swords reversed, it tells me like, okay, perhaps, you know, you at some point you will have done enough processing. The Nine of Swords, when it's upright, it's like the card of anxiety, and it's the card of looking at all of your all of the chaos of the mind and trying to find out the little nitty-gritty details of the situation, how things could have been different, and what was the truth really. And it was all that internal processing. But that now that it's reversed, it's saying like, okay, maybe you've processed enough. Maybe it's time to not think as much. And then with the King of Cups, it's like to just be really embodied in what you feel. Really embodied, like maybe letting your feelings run the show. And I mean that in the form of like intuition, like obviously sometimes we have to override the feelings, like if I don't want to go work out, but I need to go work out, for example. But it's more about like being guided and led in daily decisions and activities and what's good for your heart and soul now. As well, this could be like a partner coming in that sees you, validates you, recognizes you, can be on your level emotionally. That's definitely, I think, here in the energy as well. So these are this spread is talking about the benefits that you get from going through such a difficult chapter. And it was a chapter, but I do feel that, as always, there's a different chapter. So there is a chapter here next after this darkness that brings in the light again, and that brings in the recognition of who you are, like of your heart, of your soul, and then perhaps even like finding someone that also has walked a similar path or also, you know, can meet you. Because in this last, whatever this was, you weren't met. So that's what's coming, what I see. Okay, I want to move on to some oracle messages for you. I'm going to start with the animal oracle. Let's see. Best message for my friend. Thank you. Transformation, exactly. Transformation, and it is, this card is like the picture basically on this whole spread. So that's what you've been going through. It is like the Phoenix rising. I think this might be the Phoenix. It's number 42. Yeah, Phoenix. Let's read about it. Phoenix is an ancient bird that will burn himself every few hundred years to be born anew. He diligently builds his nest with cinnamon and frankincense. Then, when one clap of his wings, he ignites the nest into a blazing fire. He endures a night filled with roaring flames and insurmountable pain. When the sun begins to rise, he too emerges from the ashes, more brilliant and mesmerizing than the human mind can fathom. Phoenix comes with informative medicine. He says, You are also on the verge of total transformation. Although you may still be living in a current reality that your past self manifested, the medicine of this card foretells a profound change is approaching. You are in the space in between jumping timelines. This timeline is your transition from an old version of yourself into the new and evolved version of yourself. Do not get caught in the trap of believing your current reality defines what lies ahead. It is very possible you are projecting old limiting beliefs onto the situation. Trust that all your efforts over the last months and years are in the alchemical process of manifesting. You are now in the moment before you shift into your fullest self. You must believe the highest version of yourself is waiting and ready to be self-actualized. Ooh, yes, that's exactly what it is. That's so confirming for what the tarot was saying. It's like from ashes to riches, like truly, like everything melted, everything burned, and now it's like the rebuilding into something like you can't even fathom, like it said. Like seriously, I think we need to have the opposite. So like as much as you suffered through that moment in time, it's like that's also going to be like the catalyst into the growth and the expansion and the opportunities that then come into your life. Because then you have the prerequisites, you have the foundations to be able to hold them. So you're right where you need to be. And there's no rush. There's no rush, and I feel everything comes in divine timing as always. So trust this process and that it is, it's not always going to happen. Like it's a rare process, like the Phoenix, I said it every few hundred years. But obviously in your life, it's very few times. Oops. I'm going to move on. I want to pull from this Astro deck here. This is the deck. It's called Mystic Mondays. Gonna get some Astro messages. What is the best message for my friends here? I have a square. And I have Vesta. Ooh, inner spark, sacrifice, and devotion. Nice. Wow. And the square is competition, tension, and disharmony. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. A square to your inner world. Yeah, the squares are, challenging aspects in astrology. And, but yeah, I think it's like all squares turn into trines, so eventually the energies balance out, but it's a focus point for you about your own inner spark, sacrifice, and devotion. Like, what are you truly devoted to? Is it yourself? Is it really? Is it something outside of you? Like, those are obviously heavy and very important questions to ask yourself when you're going through any transformation. Yeah, that's what I feel like it is. It's such an internal game. This whole situation, this whole process is so internal. It's like the pressure has been really put on your internal world. Avesta is also like sister energy too. So there could be a feminine aspect here, either of yourself, of another. Something like that. But definitely your devotion to self is really being looked at right now, under review. Because it feels like in this last situation, There was a bit of abandoning or fractioning going on from you in order to keep the connection going. And that's why I was saying it felt like you had been feeling it coming, but you didn't want to acknowledge it. You didn't want it to actually come, for the cookie to actually crumble, you know. But you knew it was coming. You knew that things had to shift. So yeah, that's where it's coming back to, this deep devotion now of yourself, and recognizing, like, I think in the future you'll be much wiser to walk away when you're recognizing something doesn't align with you, because now the foundations are built so much different within you. Now the devotion with you and you is like of utmost importance, because you have everything you ever need within, like, inside you. So anything outside of you is just like an extra little bonus, like cherry on top. But you're whole and complete as you are. And I think, like, that's the underlying lesson of going through something so challenging like this. So, okay. Next, let's read from the Rainbow Brain Skull deck. Best message for my friend from this deck. Okay, we got two messages. One says, water the things you care about. It ain't always gonna be dirt. I love that one. And then the other one, big mixed barrel of emotions. Yes, all the emotions in this reading. So many emotions. And that's definitely confirmation of where you are. And I love this one too. What are the things you care about and ain't always gonna be dirt? That's where it's important. Like, when you're going through such a big emotional transformation, to start to pour some of that excess energy into crafts and developments of yourself, like the things that you want to grow, because they really start to take root in this time, especially when you're channeling such intensity, actually. So everything was once a tiny version of itself. The universe itself was once the size of a sesame seed. A sesame seed. Trust that if you consistently show up and make the effort, your dreams will come to fruition. Trust that. So it's just keep showing up, doing the work, and like manifesting the things that you start to feel in your heart and soul, even though you don't know what they look like. It's just the trial of it, the doing it for the experience, and then like to keep showing up because it actually fills your cup to do the thing. That's important. Not trying to fill up someone else's cup to get the validation, but like, does it fill your cup? That's the most important thing. And that's why I think, like, everything got so broken down, messed up, to like remind you of your priorities. Like, what are your priorities? That's what I think is really being revamped right now. So let me just read this big mixed barrel of emotions card, because I feel like you could maybe benefit from hearing that as well. You don't have to label what you're feeling, just be present with it. What is most important is not trying to escape or avoid your reality. Just being with it, being with yourself. Emotions are energy in motion. Let them just be, let them flow through. As well, when you're feeling like really big emotions, it's really important to have tools to help transmute them. So for example, like physically moving it out of the body, like screaming, for example, punching stuff. Obviously, like, not people, like scream into a pillow, punch a pillow. Being alone in the car, you can scream, stuff like that. Also, For if it's like a person that has hurt you or something and you just like have more to get off your chest about them, like writing them a letter, not sending it to them, not sharing it with them, but just for yourself to like let yourself be like super messy and just get out everything you want to say. And then at the end of the day, that letter was just for you and just to express. Like, that's the most important thing. Like, obviously we've been shamed and conditioned into just keeping everything inside and being like, I don't know, a good person or a good human. But it's like, it's so crucial that we let out the animalistic side of us, or the side that is just like pure raw matter or something, where it's like, we need to express. We need to express. So, yeah. And without labeling yourself as anything, through expression. That's so important as well. Okay, lastly, my friend, I'm going to pull from the I Create My Reality deck. Best message for my friend. Okay, we got 2. Oh, nice. It says, I listen to my intuition and love in abundance, receive in abundance. And you see how both of these ladies, they have their eyes closed, they have their third eye open. They're very similar in that regard, so let's read about them. I listen to my intuition. I intuitively know the right thing to do. Intuition is the inner wisdom everyone possesses. To listen to it, you must stay calm inside, even in situations that make you want to react strongly. Your intuition will always tell you what to do to make a situation better. It happens like a blink. You don't overthink it, you just know. Stay calm, trust your intuition. You will recognize the right path to take by the peace that it gives you. Nice, I like that. Yeah. Your intuition's like a muscle. You can obviously practice with it, make it stronger, and it's your umbilical cord to life, to the universe, so, which is you. So it's like a direct communication tool with your higher self. And I love that last message of you will recognize the right path to take by the peace that it gives you. So truly tapping in and what actually brings you peace. Yeah, I think that's something you will continue to open up and practice. I think going through such a turbulent emotional chapter like definitely brings in the capacity for deeper intuition. So I would keep putting that into the driver's seat of your life and keep tapping in and making that stronger, because it's really going to benefit you. Love in abundance, receive in abundance. I open my heart to receive love. I open my heart to give love. Love is powerful, but it is not to be feared. To fear love is to fear life. Love moves everything towards its true nature. Make yourself receptive to being filled with love, and once love fills you, you have an endless gift to give. I love in abundance, I receive in abundance. Love flows freely through me. And that's the thing, when something like this like has the capacity to really shut down your heart, but you don't allow it to, you actually take it as an opportunity to expand even more into love, to have an even deeper capacity for love, then it's like, I'm sorry, the phrase like, life is your bitch, like then comes to mind, because it's not that you're making life your bitch, but it's like, you're not gonna let a past situation like dictate how you're gonna live your life. Like, you get to make that decision. So the power is really coming back to you, and like, as much as someone or the situation like tried to shut you down, it's like you're actually going to give it the opposite effect of what it wanted, which is like to open yourself up even more, to be even more vulnerable, to love at an even deeper level. So I think all of that is very powerful and exactly the energy that you're stepping into now. So that is it for your reading. I hope you enjoyed. I hope it brought you some nourishment and some confirmation for exactly where you are. Come on back whenever you need more nourishment. My channel is a timeless library of mystery readings, so just pick one based on your intuition. I have my link down in the description to work with me as well. I have all the card decks listed below there too. So until next time, guys, we'll see you then. Bye.